it's not the new grave. So sometimes when you see on payments to be made, grave opening, but you don't see a burial right, that's because it's a reopen, and that's a lot of our businesses reopens.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Next item then, financial matters, 7.1, to receive and consider for approval payments to be made and petty cash account to the 8th of July 2024.
So petty cash is in the pact and their payments to be made, pass them round please. Thank you.
I'll give everyone a few minutes because we're just receiving the most up to date. Gemma just wants to know.
I wanted to highlight two items to you so you know what we're dealing with it. If you look under payments to be made, which is the first section, second from the bottom, you've got our printer. We've had this invoice come through, we've never had a separate invoice before, and it's for a quarter cost of printing, which we are disputing because I don't believe it's a correct invoice. However, with the summer break, I have had to list it on here because if I do need to make a decision on it through the summer period, if we get it reduced, then I will have to pay it, otherwise we'll have a black mark against our name. So I've just listed it on there as the full cost, but I don't expect it to be the full cost once I've disputed it. And the other one, just to highlight through, is the bottom section under scheduled payments. About halfway down, you've got positive energy. For those of you with eagle eyes, you'll know that we switched to Octopus recently, a few months back, and Positive Energy were the old supplier. There was a query on the Bow Lane site where it hadn't fully been transferred over, so we haven't been double charged. It just looks like Positive Energy have gone a little bit longer and Octopus have picked it up a little bit later. But again, we are querying that just to make sure everything is how it should be.
Okay, so thank you for that, Gemma. Are there any comments from councillors? Yeah.
Just that what said to me, in light of the fact that places like between Dando Way and Hollyground still haven't been cut for no mow May, which seems to be a rather long month, do we still pay the full amount for the ground maintenance, but we're not actually getting grounds cut?
Yeah.
We don't actually get charged for areas where Ackworth Council are responsible for cutting. This is just our areas, so this ground maintenance covers Carbridge, Bracken Hill, Low Ackworth, the big areas that we don't cut, but we look after. Verges and bits and pieces, they're all separate. Yeah, we're not paying for uncut areas.
Can I just ask, are we responsible for roundabout cutting?
So,
I'm not roundabout, are we responsible for that cutting as council?
the ego roundabout?
Yeah.
No, that's not us.
So you know, I've made a note of the roundabout and Dando away from
Well, I think there's other areas,
DC
the other areas, but that bit of Dando Way is one I pass reasonably often, so that's what I'm saying.
Like Bowline School as well. Bowline School, your district council list.
They have cut roundabout, but they left it away. Right.
Yes. Are there any other comments on the payments to made 7.1? No? Okay, can I get a proposal then for the payments then please, the cash? And the proposal? Nathan second. And votes in favour, please. Full house. Thank you. Okay, 7.2, to note the set precepts for the financial year 2024-25 as £219,400 and to include as appendix to the meeting minutes detailed budget report for 24-25. So we're just noting that. Is there any other comments on that?
No, it should be quite straightforward. It was on the auditor's feedback report to do it, just to bring the information into one place. That's it.
Excellent, okay. So that is all those items. So agenda item 8, to consider and decide upon the following planning applications. So the first one is 8.1, which is 34 Flowers Hill in Ackworth. I'm going to come to you, Andy, as per usual.
Well, that wasn't not far from me. It fits under the usual thing of tree policy, I guess, is what we'd start off with. But I actually did specifically walk past to have a look because they're fantastic trees. I love them, Scots pines, but I can see why they're complaining because they've got their driveways all over the place. It may, I can only assume because they've obviously had a proper report done, but it is the Scots pine, but they've got other trees in the garden. And so I can understand why they're asking for it, and I don't know that I want to make a recommendation as to what we should do, but if it was mine, I'd probably be wanting to sort those roots. Yeah. And if you sort the roots, you'll kill the tree. And then maybe getting close to their house, I didn't walk along the drive, so I don't know. But it's a difficult one, because I fully understand why, if you're struggling to get along your own
absolutely.
It's not ideal. So, I should.
It's sometimes about the practical versus the nature, isn't it?
Sometimes it very much is. Yeah. So, that's all I can say really. That damage to the driveway is very significant and really obvious even if you just walk past the end of the drive. So, I can understand it.
Thank you. Any other comments on that particular one then? Does anyone have a recommendation maybe, or? No?
When I just had when I checked, there weren't any comments from any for or against it. So there might have been since, but there wasn't another.
Okay.
We just apply our tree policy or see what
I think just apply our tree policy. Would that be reasonable for everyone? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so moving on to 8.2 then, so this is one of which Councillor Balfour.
Well, I did ask on their form if I could just explain the situation with regards to that tree, if that's all right.
It says tell it was approved anyway, isn't it?
Well, yes, but
yes, Sarah.
It's an absolutely, the trees on our property. It's an absolutely enormous cedar tree. It had two main trunks. One of them fell into the field and split the root at the base, so the other half is now unsafe. So the whole thing's got to come down, unfortunately. Very sad about it because it's a fabulous tree, but it's not safe. And if it comes down, it'll fall, it'll crush our house. So it's got to go, unfortunately. And it's due to come down, well, the work's scheduled for tomorrow, actually, because the tree surgeons told me they've got the permissions to take it down.
And that falls within the tree policy as well, anyway. So,
Well, I'd say Wakefield Council have approved it anyway, from what I've seen.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. Right then, I'll move on. It's just trees then for planning. So item 9, to consider for approval writing a supporting letter alongside Wakefield District Council regarding the impact of the by-election disruption caused by antisocial behaviour to the Police and Crime Commissioner. Any comments on that then, please?
Sounds like a good
idea. Yeah. Is that Rio?
Just a question. I think have we already written to anybody about this? from Chair and Clerk, has any communication gone about this matter?
Yeah, please.
So because Wakefield Council were dealing with it, I've been in communication with them. Technically to send a letter as clerk, I'd need approval from council because I've not got that delegated powers at this point. What I have done is I've written together a timeline of other village antisocial behaviour that we're aware of to help build the case, but specifically about the disruption that it's caused to Ackworth Parish Council and Ackworth Parish Council residents. We did have a caretaker on duty that evening that did go down to try to support the situation, and he's also written a statement from his part about how intimidating it was that evening and what he experienced that would accompany our letter. So I know that Wakefield Council have already done a lot of things in regards to writing to the authorities, but I felt, and obviously as council feel it's important that Ackworth Parish Council have their say also, from both the parish council, a resident, and the impact on staff that it had that evening.
Okay, Sean, yeah.
Well, I went to the impact meeting and I asked them if it could class as open violence. They couldn't answer me. Well, it's a bit disgraceful. If we're paying 597,000 for policing, not 2020, then we can't respond to fair use and sort them out. We've got close polling stations. But, like I said, you really need to look into it. Unite the people with the votes.
I think all councillors agree with you on that, yeah.
John, do we need a proposal for the clerk to send a letter on behalf of the parish council?
Yeah, recommendation.
I'll propose that recommendation.
So yeah, so there's a proposal from John to delegate that to Gemma, yeah. Okay, so that's a proposal.
I just need to ask,
Lydia?
what happened? Sorry, because the antisocial behaviour is bad enough, but the fact that it's an impact on democracy, I think, is the biggest consideration.
Absolutely.
What would have happened if that was during the general election? And how can they assure the staff and voters that they're safe next time they vote?
It was discussed at the PAC meeting, and I'll just tell you what they said.
So,
Is that for the general election, apparently the police do drive between polling stations regularly. That they basically spend all day driving polling station to polling station. And whilst they did say they accept, obviously that means they're not there all the time, but it would appear the police are more prepared for any incidents those days, because then if there was one, they would go straight to that one rather than just leaving it on the road. So that's all.
Yeah,
that's basically what they say. So.
I can confirm.
But I share your concern, yeah, very much.
I can confirm at the general election, having visited some polling stations, police were present, more so I would say than I've seen previously in our village. And I think it should be acknowledged as well, this is unprecedented, it's not happened before, that's why it made the news, especially at a by-election of the parish council. I'll bring Susie in first, then John, and then back to you, Sean. Yeah, Susie.
Could we ask a question of Wakefield District Council why they closed this polling station when in actual fact that was not the correct procedure? And secondly, could we ask the Police and Crime Commission, because my understanding of the youths is although they are below age and their names will not be given, that it is legitimate to ask whether or not they've been arrested or taken in somehow. I'm not quite sure what they do with youths, but
Yeah,
is it possible to ask?
it's definitely possible. Just give me 1 second. Can I get a seconder first of all for John's proposal, which is to delegate a letter or a response to be given to the clerk in order to write to Wakefield Council and the Police and Crime Commissioner. Can we get a second? Sharon seconded, yeah? Okay. Can the comments that Susie's just made, is that okay to have them specifically included? Do you need those repeats?
So, is an amendment, we're dealing with it as an amendment to the proposal. So we've got here to write to Police and Crime Commissioner, and we're going to add on as an amendment.
Yes.
That is how you want him to deal with it, Chair.
Yeah. If we can add that as an amendment, is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was why this one was closed. That's the specific question.
Yeah.
No, that's for WMDC.
Sorry, yes.
Why was
The bit that I'm adding to WMDC is why Bowray was closed as well.
That's right.
That's the question.
Because it's not. actually the procedure that...
And John's accepting that.
Yeah.
And John's accepting
And
that.
Sharon's accepting it as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Excellent. John and then Sean.
Just to, you know, I was speaking to some of the people from the electoral group, and they said that the Wakefield Council didn't tell the police that the election was on. They omitted to tell the police that was on. So normally, obviously in the general election, the police do know, but they didn't even know there was an election because it was a it's, you know, small scale and in their terms.
Excellent. Thank you.
No,
Sean.
with elections, a procedure, if there's disruption to polling stations, they should close it and then reopen it by the time it was closed after the incidents. But God knows why they closed this one. So I need to look at it as well. Because they didn't follow the proper procedures, and I challenged Julian Marshall on that straight away.
Yeah.
Susan,
Yeah, I mean, Susie covered that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sarah and then Ian. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, bearing in mind you're not disagreeing with what anybody has said, but the procedure, as was explained to all of us involved, because I went to the count because two of the candidates couldn't go, and Harry asked me if I would go. There was an opportunity for any of the candidates or for electors from the parish, from the ward, to challenge the outcome of the election, and that didn't happen. I think two of the candidates said before the count that whatever the outcome was, they wouldn't challenge it. And so that challenge, just to be clear, that challenge could have been made on terms of procedure and everything else, but wasn't.
Yes. Ian, yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say as well, so I mean, I personally did write to the police commissioner as well, but obviously I was a civilian at the time, I was on the council, but just to make that known that I have already raised it as an issue.
Sean. And I'll bring back in Sean. Yeah. Thank you.
I just stated to Julian Marshall the three options that you give us, confirmed that. I didn't think they were legal, because she gave us three options and it wasn't legal because of the procedures.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not Julie Marshall, you know. But yeah.
I'm just saying, if I could just add to in terms of what Sarah said, I think it's great that everything was accepted and things, and there wasn't any challenges as far as I know.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good, but the main concern is a repeat in future, making sure we don't get a repeat. And if there was a repeat of something causing a polling station to close, that procedure absolutely is followed according to whatever procedure should be.
Sean.
Which maybe wasn't. So I think it is, that's out of the way, but it's not finished because it could happen again.
Yes. Excellent. Thanks very much, everyone. I know it's unprecedented what this village went through in terms of that election. I mean, I think as a council, I think we're confident with the actual overall result in the fact that both Sean and Ian were elected. But still, there is the question about the legitimacy. Like, there was a question mark over the election and how it closed polling stations and the procedure more than the actual end result, I think, is what we're sort of querying overall. We do have a proposal from John and the amendment from Susie. So can I put that to a vote then? So those in favour of delegating that to the clerk and with Susie's amendments added into that, we've got a full house. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone. Item 10, to consider for approval delegating power to the Finance and General Purposes Committee to review and approve quotations at the July meeting for a replacement roof at Bell Lane Community Centre to avoid delay over the summer break. Funds of up to £30,000 previously earmarked from general reserves. And I open to comments from councillors then, please.
Do we have 3 quotes for it?
We will. Come on, guys.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
We will have 3 quotes.
Yeah.
I've just simply run out of time to get it to this meeting, and then I just have got a break.
Will that be including the ATR? That £30,000, including VAT on that.
So if it goes over 30,000, there's a different process. It will just depend how the quotes come in. Yeah.
Cheers.
The quotes that committee will receive will include VAT, but if it goes above 30, I'll have to put it on the September meeting anyway.
Cheers.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Matt, Andy?
Just one thing that did concern, well, a couple of things I wanted to say, but one that did concern me a little bit is actually by putting in the agenda how much funds we've earmarked. It does give them a good indication of how much we're expecting to spend, and then that might if that was real.
I've already got the quotes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. No, okay. Well, obviously I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But,
I
I've
get
got
where you're
part.
going.
yeah.
I've got part of the quotes, which is why I couldn't get them up until
Right, yeah. No, that's fine, but obviously that sort of thing about if you see, oh, I'm going to have a quote. You know, it kind of isn't ideal. But I suppose the thing I was wondering about, I'd quite like to put as a slight amendment to the proposal that is almost written in the agenda there, is that it's only approved if there actually are 3 quotes, and that the full Parish Council could see those 3 quotes before the FNGP meeting to enable us to everybody to make a comment, because it is a significant amount.
So would you be happy for that to be emailed to all?
Yeah. Obviously, just we email it and have a chance to make a comment and put in some thoughts. But if there are 3 quotes, maybe we, well, we could, again, maybe all comment in relation to that.
Okay. So I'll take that as an amendment proposal, and I'll just bring Sarah in.
Yeah, I'm just understand what Andy's saying, but if we vote to approve this today, the approval is there, no matter what comments councillors might make.